We're here. Yeah. Let me just get this beverage open. Well, it's not beverage. This is water in it, bro. Busy morning and all that. Apart the juice for the sunshine, and I don't know what I can do about that, bro. That's I don't know, man. That's how you religious folk would say it's God's work. But it's nothing to do with me, blood. Do you get me? I've been busy, bro. What we saying, man? Hope everyone can hear me, blood. Monday night rotted blood. Monday night raw fish blood. Monday night, you know what I'm saying? Salmonella blood. It's raw. You know them way there. Big up Morris blood. You know the vibes. For get this raw talk on the way because I mean, ain't chopped up in a minute. Well, I have, but let's not over exaggerate. But the last show was based on AJ Lee, was it? Prior to SmackDown, and then I've done football shows since then. That's what I spoke to a couple of years, and now we're here to talk about Raw. Again, if the glare bothers you, I apologize, but you know what I mean. I know the audio is good, so that's the main thing. But yeah, man, Raw talk. Get it out of the way. You know what I mean? I'm not too pissed. I'm not too pissed today. I don't know if I would say that Raw was enjoyable. I don't think it was, but there's a few talking points in there that, yeah, I mean, I don't mind too much if they don't fumble, which they're gonna fumble the bag on it, man. But I don't really, and you know, I mean, I keep trying to tell you like this week in week out. I don't really want to continue delving in detailed play-by-play of Raw anymore, simply because we're getting the same product week in, week out. Now, obviously, you know I like to go off on a tangent, so there's at some point I'll probably go into something and then start talking about the play-by-play, but I do want to get away from it because it means I have to tear down the program even more, man. And I listen, no matter how I think about the creative, the people in the ring, the superstars, the WWE superstars, they go in there, they put their bodies on the line to entertain people, and that never changes. So whether people want to shout out botch every time they make a mistake, although people need to get over that a little bit. You know what I mean? If there's a drastic one, especially when it's to do with like acting skills and promos and whatever, man. But you know what I mean? When you know you try and big boot someone and you're 5 inches away from the face, I get it. But when it's just actual moves and you know, oh, this person hurt, I'm like, brother, it's pro wrestling. Let's not get rid of the wrestling part. That's what happens when you have a fight, blood. Mistakes happen. You swing on a man in ducks, brother. Did you botch the punch? You didn't botch the punch, blood. You get me? So kind of get away from that. It's a bit childish. I don't like people stop DMing me. Oh, did you see the botching? The bot. Just relax, man. Some people are trash at it, and then you have to delve into it. But yeah, man, some things I'm just like, come on, man. Now, when you have them bot compilations from back in the day, like Randy Orton, Mark Henry, and Batista, and you know what I mean, and them ones are a little bit different. But when these are trying to do their job and little things happen, whatever, man. Like, as long as you don't want no one to get hurt. But there's always a discussion, and I'm not trying to tell people what to do. I'm just not interested in it myself. But let me get my notes up first. I got a few notes on the show, more of what was in order, so I can grasp that. I think a little cold open on the talking points of this show. Well, one talking point would obviously be AJ Lee, which I don't want to say it, man, but in fact, I'm not going to say it because I realized after this weekend, and I did explain on the last show why AJ Lee fans are so excited and why they're so crazy. And you can do the math on people's age and that. Most AJ Lee fans are under the age of 30. And AJ Lee ain't been there for 10 years. So if you was a hardcore fan going into your 20s, that's all you hung on to. If you're 25, she was there when you was 15. Formative years, possibly. I mean, she wasn't the biggest. Was she the biggest star on the roster when she was about to finish? I don't think she was, but people can argue. Yeah, the tail end of her Paige there, which you know Paige will be next now, and I love Paige. Yeah, man, you got so there's talking points of AJ Lee, there's talking points of WWE delving back into the well of nostalgia and previous stars again, but that's going to take a separate video simply because I'm getting bored of it now. The fact that we've got Nikki Bella and AJ on the same show already, like currently, a CM Punk on the same show, people from the past. Wouldn't be surprised if Brie turns up soon. You get a young Daniel Bryan. You get what I mean? It's always delving into the same bag. which isn't always a bad thing. And I'm always happy to see these people. But the question will be, if you have to keep diving into the bag of these nostalgia acts and you keep pushing them to the forefront of your show, then what about the talent that's already on there? Because if anyone watched SmackDown, you had CM Punk and AJ Lee on there, you had Brock Lesnar in there, you had John Cena in there. Everything else around it, nobody cared about. Nobody cared about anything else around that show. All of those people, you get me, they are from the past, bro. So it's not that I've got a problem with him being there. It's just that I'm trying to look towards the future. And for WWE's sake, you don't want to have this drop off where you use all these people and then in one particular year, maybe 2027, you lose all your acts because everyone's not going to have a John Cena retirement tour. Some people are just not going to turn up. They're going to have a SummerSlam, a Survivor Series, a WrestleMania, and just not come back. You can imagine that when Brock's done, he won't have a retirement match. He'll just be done. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Brock's done the same time as John Cena. We just won't know it until we just never see him again. They said that AJ Lee signed a multi-year contract. Now, obviously, AJ Lee's not old, but she's 38 years old. She's not old at all. She's been out of the business a long time, obviously kept herself in great shape. CM Punk, though, when you watch him wrestle now, he looks like he's on his last legs. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. He looks very frail. And to be fair, he tore both separate triceps in separate companies. And his knee, I think, jumping into the crowd kind of tells you where someone's body parts are at. So, you get me? You had Seth, who was banged up for real. We saw in the WrestleMania match when he come to save Cody how banged up he was. We saw when that thing he had with Nakamura about the fractured spine. We saw how banged up he was. Roman's off doing a movie. Your face of the company's off doing a movie. You gave him the title for no reason. John Cena's about to retire. You're going to be left with people that are good at what they do, but you're not even using them properly at the moment. Let's not forget people like Sheamus, Miz, McIntyre, R-Truth, Randy Orton. Forget how they look for a second. These are not spring chickens. These are not young people, bro. So you should be delving into Fatu, the Tongans, MFTs, Solo, Bronson Reed, Bron Breakker. You should be using these Trick Williams, Obafemi. This is what you should do. But you don't seem to be doing at the moment. We'll get there though. Because all the people that were of that age before, they've already done it. No disrespect, they've already done it. Roman Reigns, the Usos, everyone's 40 in it. So Roman Reigns, the Usos, Cody, they're all 40, bro. They all turned 40 this year. Sami Zayn's already in his 40s. Kevin Owens, same shit as Fink as well. They already had that spot when that around WrestleMania 30, them times. 2014, I think it was. They were the age, and WWE, Vince McMahon did use them properly. He did use the younger talent. Even Punk was younger back then as well. He did use them all. And the women all got used from NXT. The four horsewomen, Bayley, Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, they all got used, bro. The whole of the Shield got used. The whole of the Wyatts got used. That was the roster. They were all NXT. Big E was NXT talent as well. AJ Lee at the time, she came in, obviously she was doing her thing already. Paige was NXT talent. All of these were NXT talent. That was done the right way. Now you're prolonging it to the point where, you get me? And as I told you that already, that there's people that I want to see back. Like, I think I'm older than Paige. I'm 35. She's, I think, 33 or something like that, 32 maybe. She was the youngest ever wrestling star at the time. You're not even been using Pete, and now he's getting older. And he's young, he's 34. Paige will be next, Saraya. She'll be back at the Royal Rumble. We'll do a whole video on what pops are coming next, because we know that it's gonna be Paige, it's gonna be Bianca, it's gonna be Liv, it's gonna be Gunther. They're all setting up for the pop. That's why none of them have returned. They've not returned because they're all not fit to return. They can return on camera. You know why we know they can return? Because we already got Bianca return and be a ref. She already returned with the broken finger to be a referee. The one thing you have to use as a referee is your hands to pin. So if clearly she could have came back, they could have used her on screen. They could separate her with Montez and put B-Fab with Dawkins, bro. Why is that not in the picture? Why are we not having Dawkins and B-Fab versus Bianca and Tez instead of having Becky and Seth versus Punk and AJ Lee? Nobody can tell me, can they? You're gonna tell me that the other ones are bigger stars? Well, yeah, because the other ones ain't been used properly. Bo Dallas is not old, bro, but he's getting older. You're not using him properly, bro. Bo Dallas is a talented guy, bro. I don't like the White Six. I don't like Uncle Howdy and that. I liked Uncle Howdy when Bray was alive. Some things for me just feel like Bray had a hold of where this was going creatively, and now he's not here. I don't want to hear everyone else's input. I'm sorry. If you do a good job, cheers to you. We'll celebrate it. I'll buy the merch. I'm always supporting, but I don't care for this product and that system where Bray's not there. I just don't care. Bray never picked Gacy. Bray never picked Nikki. Bray never picked Loomis. He didn't pick any of these people, bro. And you can see why. I think she'll just about be the same in ring as she was before, unlike a Goldberg, but I see what you're saying. Oh, you're talking about AJ Lee, I'm guessing. I mean, I'll tell you what, you lot can say what you want about Goldberg, but Goldberg's a bigger star than all of them. Now, that's not an opinion either, bro. Just because people never lived Goldberg's stardom doesn't mean he wasn't a star, bro. They're not bigger than Goldberg, bro. If you go out on the streets and ask people of a certain age, because if you're gonna go and ask people who are AJ Lee fangirls and all that, safe on it, but she's not bigger than Goldberg, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I understand what you're saying, but when it comes to the star power and that, she's for the niche crowd. She's for the niche crowd. That's why there's all everyone grown men crying online and all that because she's back. Be excited, innit? I hear it, man. But that's why. She's, you know what I mean? CM Punk was the voice of the voiceless, and she was the voice of the like quirky girl that looked cute but didn't want to, you know what I mean? And she was good though. I did like AJ Lee, but let's talk about it anyway. I want to see Keith Lee back though, and yeah, listen, man. But I'll be honest, bro. I don't want to see anybody back when they've just got rid of Karrion Kross, bro. What's the point? You've already signaled to me that somebody who's mad creative on the roster, you don't know how to do anything with them. So now I'm on this like preservation thing. The only sad thing about Keith Lee is if I got to see him in AEW now, then I wouldn't need him in WWE, but I don't get to see him in either. But I like when I look at like Edge and Christian and stuff like that. If I had to pick, do I want Edge and Christian back in the WWE or in AEW? I'll be honest, bro. If Edge and Christian had their actual name in AEW and not Copeland and Cope and that, I'll just keep them in AEW. You know why? Because at least Tony Khan will listen to them. Because now no shows are doing stories properly. And in fact, AEW is doing a few of them. So then I just got to pick between the wrestling and what they get to do in the ring. And I'd much rather watch what AEW have to do in the ring. The only problem is they go too far sometimes. And it's always blood acts and spikes. So I'm not interested in that. But what would I love Keith Lee, but bring him back for what? Just so they can do what they did to Penta. What I told you like they were going to do in the first 6 weeks, and nobody wanted to listen to me. I told you they were going to do it to Penta. I told you they were going to do it to Ray. I told you they were going to do that to Rusev. I told you they were going to do it to Aleister Black. And this isn't a pat on the back thing. I don't want to be right about this. I want them to do great stuff. Such is life. What do I know anyway, man? It's just life, innit? Fucking wrestling, bro. All right, let me wait for this to load up because I flipping wrote it on my phone and then in my Dropbox in it. But flipping AJ Lee, man. Tell you the only shock I got today is that the promo, what I'm on about every week, this 18-minute promo was 18 minutes again. Just wasn't at the beginning of the show, it was in the middle. So thanks for changing up. But WWE Raw, 8th of September 2025, Visery Forum, live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is also where Jeffrey Dahmer was killing people. Did I just make that up? Bro, I couldn't tell you why I had that in my mind, bro. But as soon as I heard Milwaukee, all I think of is Giannis and Jeffrey Dahmer. Hopefully I'm wrong. We started off this show with the Usos. We had the usual yeet down from Jay coming out the crowd, and we had Jimmy in the ring. It was fun for me. Listen, if I say it once, I'll say it again, bro. I grew up with being favorites of some people, but I was a tag team guy, and I was a Hardy Boys guy. When the Hardy Boys moved on, Usos and the New Day. I love the Usos together. And I said to use that on, I can't remember what stream it was after Jay lost his title. I think they're both good on the mic. Jay gasses himself up a little bit, but Jimmy's way better than him on the mic because Jay's more of the nervous one. But when they're together and they're riffing and it's Uso Penitentiary, locked down, you know what I mean? Finn Balor, locked down, you know what I mean? War Raiders, locked down. You know what I'm talking about. You know what promos I'm talking about, bro. When they do that and they're riffing between each other and it feels like it's a rap cipher. Oh my. You can't talk to the Usos and that's what we got today. Because of course they were approached by Braun and Bronson. The Brons, the Brusos, they were there. But they cooked him. And I did like it. They've tried to run their mouth about Roman taking him out, and then Jimmy Snap said, "Shut your mouth, you talk about the OTC." Then they cooked Paul Heyman, the Advocate, aka the Wiseman, aka the Orca. That shit took me out. I can't lie, bro. He weren't like, oh, he cooked him completely, but when they called him an Orca, bro, it finished me, man. But yeah, they basically were trying to build up to a tag team match at WrestlePalooza, which I have to be honest, I'm fed up of Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed already in these tag teams, bro. Like we're gonna have, oh my god, it's some iteration of Bron and Bron against the Uso, LA Knight, CM Punk, Roman, mixed constantly. That's all it is, over and over again. And maybe a Sami Zayn. There's 5 men and the Brons, and they just rotate week in, week out. It's like a rotating house show that I can see on TV. It's boring, and I think not only is it boring, I think I've got to the cross of why it winds me up so much with the Brons. It's because Seth has a title and they don't, bro. And because they don't have a title, there is no risk or reward when it comes to them fighting. Their wins don't mean anything. Their losses don't mean anything. In fact, I'm willing to say that Bronson Reed loses 75% of his matches. Nobody cares, bro. He was stealing Roman's trainers. He's still walking around calling himself the tribal thief. He has no trainers, bro. So why WWE have you not got him stealing other people's kicks when he beats them and not just Roman's? Doesn't that make more sense? You've took the gimmick off him within 3 weeks of starting it, and you're probably selling merch with the tribal. I don't get it. Why did you find something good for him to do where he separated himself from the vision and he wasn't just the lackey, the bodyguard in a suit? You found something for him. It made him an individual. It gave him a personality. And now you took it away from him. So now you just look like an idiot walking around with that t-shirt. Because Roman's not even there. Yes, you beat him up, but you didn't beat him up and then jump back in the crowd and take Roman's trainers back. So it's a bit silly. It doesn't make any sense. He doesn't have to walk around with everyone's trainers around his neck. But at least have him steal other people's stuff in it. Crazy. Yeah, Mark, obviously I get to that. I'm going to go in order in it. So, like, I'm not going to cover anything what's at the end of the show. I really don't care about this whole vision, the Uso thing. It's because currently the reason why Jimmy and Jay would want to beat them up makes sense. They took out Roman. Okay. All the other times before that, when there was no title involved, what was the point for Seth? Seth doesn't even care about them because he's got his missus in the group now. But yeah, WrestlePalooza is the reason why this promo happened, just to let you lot know. While they were talking, LA Knight comes out and attacks Bronson Reed from behind and Bron Breakker. They get into an all-out brawl, and then obviously the Brons take over and start beating them up while the Usos are still standing in the ring. They go suicide dive. They get the best of them. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and then that segment ends. Yeah, I think there's a couple super kicks and stuff like that. And then, yeah, Jay and LA Knight started bickering with each other, and then it closes the segment. Come out for commercial break. We have LA Knight arguing with Adam Pearce and Byron Saxton asks the comment. Knight talks about how he's focused on getting another title shot. Pearce is more fixated on the Vision Tag Team WrestlePalooza match, and Knight doesn't care about the Usos family reunion. Yeah. And then he basically says that like he didn't throw Bronson Reed into Jay on purpose because he didn't actually throw him into him. He just got out of the way and Bronson got him. But Jay would have been able to see that. That's the thing. I hate they keep doing this thing where like the superstar who's supposed to be blindsided is directly looking at what's happened. So why would Jay be mad when you can see that Bronson is frog splashing you, bro, in the corner and like a stinger splash? I can't remember what order this was in, so I'm just gonna go here. I think I'm gonna go. It was the break after that, so I'll just talk about this anyway. So we had the AJ Styles promo on an ad break. They call it a shoot promo. So I got Netflix. So I could see the thingy. Some people while I'm watching Netflix, it gives me the timer in the corner of what's going on. So, yeah, I could see that some people wouldn't have been able to see it, but we'll get into it. Let me get to the chat. Big up Universal. That's one of the worst shows I've ever seen. The Vision is the Shield from Wish and Timu. That was on the that's not spam. Is it most Raw this year has not been good? Only a few been good. This isn't one of the worst ones I've seen because I had one the other day that was the what? Like it was that, and there was one the other day where I think it was before Clash in Paris that and SmackDown was the what? The Raw might have been the worst one. Was it Raw or was it SmackDown? It was before the Birmingham show. It was trash. It was trash. But yeah, man. But yeah, use like Karen Bicker in the chat anyway. Okay, so we had this AJ Styles promo, and I did like the promo, man. It was a little bit different from AJ. He basically came out and started speaking about the fact that this is he says straight away like this is on an ad break for most people watching, but I'm gonna say this anyway because there's a lot of people back there that don't want me to say anything. Because somebody doesn't want me here. It's like usually throughout my career, someone's always had my back, and for the first time, no one's got my back in the company. So Gallows and Anderson are no longer here. Meechin's on SmackDown, and clearly someone here doesn't want anyone to have my back and doesn't want me here. And he said, so I just want to beat somebody up. And then we go into a match between him and Al Americano, Al Grande Americano. Now, Moritz just said exactly what I just said, what I was about to say. And I'm going to disregard the first part because you guys have to give this a rest, man. You have to. I've seen this online as well. Why does after WWE Unreal and the way they're treating the company and they go on ESPN and Ariel Hawani and all these podcasts every week, who in their right mind would think this is a shoot promo? They are on Netflix, bro. They have a live feed. If you don't want man to speak, I'll cut his mic off. Bruv, like, what are we talking about? Of course it's not a shoot. Now, is it a work shoot? Well, yeah, that's what you're supposed to be doing, but obviously kayfabe don't matter anymore, so who gives a shit? But yes, it's supposed to look like he's gone rogue and said it on an advert. I can happily feed into that, apart from the fact that they keep breaking kayfabe and then expecting me to like believe everything. So, for example, when R-Truth came back, did you not think that R-Truth just turned up on Raw, grabbed the microphone, cut his hair off, and started? No, he didn't. But it was worked in that way to make it look like that. That's fine. That is the pro wrestling I was brought up on. That's how pro wrestling is meant to be. We're meant to be able to just watch it and go, oh my God, he's took like, for example, the best version of a work shoot. I don't even like, I have to be honest with you, I don't like speaking like this. I'm not part of the wrestling business, made me feel uncomfortable, but we're in 2025, everyone's using the words now. Hope any wrestlers ain't watching the thing that I'm trying to be. I'm not. But for the audience, the best one we've seen over the last few years was The Rock and Cody. So when The Rock took Cody outside, beat the shit out of him, and then The Rock said, there was like, I don't care about the effing cameras, and you could see a camera crew recording the camera crew. So it made it seem like, oh shit, like he's the final boss. He doesn't give a damn that they've gone off TV. This is beyond ours. And he just beating the shit out of Cody, beat him up, threw him, made him bleed. Mama Rhodes spat next to him, whipped him with the belt and left him on the ground. That is the perfect way to do it. Because we're not dumb enough to think that The Rock's actually trying to kill man. But while we were watching it, The Rock was trying to kill man. And that's how I see it. So AJ cut this promo, and I thought it was good. The only problem I have with what they're doing with AJ, and this is nitpicking, but I'm only nitpicking because they're probably going to ruin it in a week's time. we had weeks build up of AJ versus Dom. Then we had Dom have a sick note, so AJ couldn't fight him. Then for 3 weeks, we had AJ turn up in disguises, trying to wait for Dom to be ready. Then we got the match between, because obviously the first one before that is Saudi Arabia never happened. Then we had the match between them, and then AJ lost. Obviously, the Luchas, Al Americano got involved, the headpiece and all that stuff. So when AJ comes out and cuts this promo, it doesn't really make sense. When he says it's the first time I've had no one to have my back, well, no one's supposed to have your back because you're meant to be in a singles match that if somebody has your back, you're disqualified. Now, if you're talking about outside the ring, I get that. But the promo he cut was really good. The problem with this promo is it probably should have been leading up to fighting Dom. It should have been Adam Pearce saying, can't fight Dom today. He doesn't want to travel to Saudi Arabia. We'll fight him next week. Can't fight Dom today. He's got a doctor's sick note. Okay. Can't fight Dom again. Dom's not ready and we're overscheduled with matches already. So tell you what, AJ, you're just going to have to miss out on this one. But in a few weeks, we'll find something for you. Then you have an interview with AJ Styles and Kathy Kelly backstage, he gets cut. You have an interview with him and Byron Saxon stage, he gets cut. Then you have AJ come out on color commentary while Dom's having a match and just take over. Then the security take him out. You shouldn't be on here. Then you have him come out on an advert in the advertising break in normal clothes, looking rogue, talking about what he just said. And then when the security guards come out, he jumps out. He says he's going to beat someone up. And then AJ basically says, I'm going to beat somebody up every week until I get my title shot against Dom. Then you have AJ beat Dom and become the champion. That's how you book AJ versus Dom. And then when AJ becomes champion, you book AJ versus John Cena because they had a great feud before and there's a title involved and John Cena could possibly win a title or he might not. Then you book John Cena versus Brock Lesnar and then you book John Cena in his last match. That was done in 3 minutes on my... I just did that in 3 minutes, bro. That's what you should have done. Universal. Morris, come on, bro. If you're modding, bro, man can't be spamming on it. But yeah, Universal, bro, love for the channel and that, bro. But stop repeating the same thing, bro. Because you get me, when everyone else wants to type, it is what it is. We get it. You think AJ's was the worst segment. We ain't got to that yet. So when we get to it, I'll cover everyone's comments. And that's, come on, everyone should be used to that now, bro. When I get to what part we're talking about, that's when I'll get to the comments on that part. Otherwise, you get me, it's going to slow down. And I've got a show with ends after this in about 25 minutes. So, but yeah, man, that's what they should have done. But the promo itself was all right. He went into a match with Al Americano. He won the match. Nobody cares. If I'm correct, isn't this the first time that Al Americano's been pinned on TV? Or am I tripping? Am I tripping? I swear it's the first time I've seen him pinned. I could be wrong, but I feel like it's the first time I've seen him pinned. There was 2 Al Americanos, of course. There was the match. Funny enough, the match was actually good between them. Not that it matters. There was a cool... Oh, it's his first loss. Yeah, I thought so. There was a cool spot in there where, like, Al Americano tried to give him the Stars Clash, but then he rolled him up, and then he tried to give him the Stars Clash. He rolled him up, and then AJ flipped him over into a Star... Listen, the way... I've said this countless times over the years, bro. On the mic, give or take AJ normally, bro. In the ring, he's up there with the greatest of all time. Like, AJ Styles can do everything in the ring. He can do the high-flying stuff, and he can work normal. I'm not saying he's the best in the world of all time in the ring, but I think he's top tier, bro. Top 10, definitely top 5. Yeah. I don't even know who I think is number 1. It might be Kurt Angle. I think it's Kurt Angle. Yeah, I think it's Kurt Angle. Anyway. Yeah, I hear Universal. If you use your keyboard, then fair enough, bro. But, yeah. Moving on from there, we had Joe Tessitore talk about Worlds Collide. Nobody cares. But Adam Pearce told Io that he had to cancel her contract signing because Stephanie Vakira is not in the building. Would love to know why Stephanie Vakira is not in the building, but he said that he's certain that she'll make it to WrestlePalooza, which means that we're having no build between Io and Stephanie Vakira at all. No build, bro. Which was fine when it was Stephanie Vakira versus Naomi, because you've earned your title shot. Naomi is a champion, but the fact this is a vacated title is winding me up a little bit that there's no build, but we get it. Nikki comes backstage, says that Io's about to tear the house down, and Asuka pushes Nikki aside. Asuka tells Nikki to stay away from Io. And Nikki says to Asuka, she didn't have to do her like that, but she will respect her. And then Asuka doesn't respect Nikki, and then she said she'll beat the respect out of Nikki. Well, she said, I beat the respect out of Nikki. No one's ready for Asuka. Then Kairi Sane apologizes on Asuka's behavior, and then we get the AJ Lee video package that I don't care about. We went to the second match of the night, Lyra Valkyria versus Raquel Rodriguez, and back to the method I've been telling you about. Big up Blue Sonic, bro. Back up to the method I told you about. Raquel takes on Lyra Valkyria. Lyra Valkyria, who doesn't seem to wrestle much anymore. Lyra Valkyria, who seems to be very worried about Bayley all the time, even though Bayley don't care about you. And you both beat the shit out of each other. I can't remember a triple threat match. The method is in full effect because let me tell you, next week on Raquel won this match clean. She won. Tahada bomb off the top rope. Big up to Raquel. She's doing her best work. It's going unnoticed and it's winding me up. She should be in the title picture. In fact, Raquel should be the one in this match against Stephanie Vaquia. Because if she wins that title and Liv returns, then we've got a story on our hands, bro. Because then Liv is going to have to tag with Roxanne and Raquel's going to be champion and Roxanne and Liv hate each other. Unagi. But I digress. She's been working great. Since Kevin Nash gave her the bit of the that direction on Twitter when he said that she should be working as a big girl, she's taken it on board and she's been great. So big up to her. She looks great. She is great. Yeah, big up to Raquel. Tahada bomb off the top rope. Pretty easy for her to beat Lyra, considering 3 months ago, if you put this match against Lyra, she would beat everyone. But here is the method. Bet any money, bruv. Roxanne Perez is fighting Lyra next week, bruv. Even though Lyra lost, Roxanne Perez will fight her next week. And why do I know this? Because this always happens. Just like Xavier fighting Penta, Kofi fighting Penta, Waller fighting Penta. This is going to be the thing. I think Penta's won 2 out of 3 now. So we know. Bill Morris said, where is Stephanie? Even been this point, just dealing with a minor injury during. No, I'm not going to do that because she was there last week. She was there last week backstage, wasn't she? With Adam Pearce. That's when Adam was like, "Oh, I don't have a match for you at Clash in Paris, but I will sort this out." And then she was like, "Okay, Adam." That's what she said, and then she went away. What? Listen, you know what would have been cool? Because especially if Io's going to win this title. Now, if she's not, stick with Io versus Stephanie. I didn't say she was in Paris. I said that's leading into Paris. He said, I don't have a match for you at Paris. I didn't say she was in Paris, bro. But what would have been cool is if they know for a fact that Io's going to win the title, they should have brought one of the talent from NXT up to fight her. Maybe like a Lash Legend or someone like that. That would have been cool. Because if Lash Legend are going to lose anyway, at least you make it, run it close. But obviously Io's supposed to be the baddest on the planet and all this stuff. Or whatever she's. So, but yeah, man. Bit of a mad one. But yeah, that's the method, and you lot just look out for that match next week. It's gonna happen. 100%. But big up Raquel for winning. The War Raiders told Penta that they have his back if he needs anything. All right. Then Penta walked into Adam Pearce. Penta wants a crack at the Intercontinental Championship because he'll be a champion. Cero miedo. All right. Rusev interrupts the conversation, and Rusev tells Pearce he's not following the plan. Rusev's return crushes Sheamus, and then blah, 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 blah. I get it. I agree with the fact that for that match, that great match that Rusev and Sheamus had, the good old Donnybrook match, for that to mean something, you need to book Rusev stronger after that. Now, he doesn't have to go for a title, but the next person he needs to kill as well, so we can lead to a title. If you're just going to have him go against whoever for the sake of it, but obviously this was going to lead into a match between Penta and Rusev. So let's settle these issues in the ring. I would like to say something, and this is me nitpicking as well. You know, in wrestling, when this because Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis are basically the same person on different rosters. They don't have any personality apart from the fact that Adam Pearce, when he gets angry, enough, and he takes his glasses off, and then he says it's official. They don't actually have anything. We need authority heel figures as So you have like one who's a babyface manager, one who's a heel manager, especially when we go into Survivor Series, because it makes a lot of sense. Because basically, what you're telling us, especially for casual fans, that this show that you've booked and have 14,000 plus in the arena all the time, there is no structure to the show. Because if you can just keep making matches, then what matches are you moving? Like, surely you have some matches set in place. But Adam Pearce just shouts. Nick Aldis just makes matches on the spot every day, every time on SmackDown. You go backstage to Nick Aldis, and it's always him and Chelsea Green. I'll make you a match. Always, bro. Always some iteration of the secret cervix backstage, bro. Most of the War Raiders are finished, in my opinion. Oh, when did you come to that hypothesis, blood? Was it early in the year when every match was against the New Day? Every single match, brother. These men didn't get started. Never mind, finished, but they ain't been good. I don't even when they had the title, they weren't good. Bro. They ain't been good since NXT, bro. Since they were the Viking Party or the Viking Experience, bro. Man said, I think they're finished here, bro. They were finished when they started, bro. We ain't found out one thing about this group, blood. Do they eat raw meat? Do they live off primal instincts, bro? Do they live in a cave, bro? Do they follow their ancestral tenets day in, day out, bro? Like the Liver King. I don't know what they do, bro. All I know is you man think you're Vikings, but sometimes you're dressed as like Sons of Anarchy bikers, blood. And one of your girls don't wear shoes, blood. And she had a baby. Valhalla, they called her. You know what Valhalla is? I'll tell you what Valhalla is. My missus is Danish, bro. It means a lot to them, bro. Valhalla's heaven, bro. Valhalla's where the serious Vikings who die in the heat of battle go to live out their life in paradise. But you decide to call your woman Valhalla. Makes no sense. But what do I know? Adam Pearce is cringe. Agreed, blood. The problem is, it's not his fault. You remember when Adam Pearce was cooking Ronda Rousey them days, blood? When he was crashing out. Now Adam Pearce, it's official. But that was before TKO. So what do I know? We go, Jimmy Uso finds his brother getting ready to leave backstage. This was interesting. This was one of the most interesting things because Jay said, I don't care about LA Knight or Bronson Reed's match. Jimmy says that they have to run the play on the vision tonight. And Jay says that Knight is trying to get him. Helping Knight is not going to help them at WrestlePalooza, nor will it help Jay capture his World Heavyweight Championship back. Jay wants the vision to acknowledge them. Keyword, acknowledge. Jimmy says that, Jay, you're not sounding like yourself. Then there was a pause. And then he said, you sounded like Roman. The important part with this is Jay said, well, yeah, because sounding like myself is not getting me anywhere. Now, obviously, in my head, because I love the bloodline, I'm like, whoa, heel Jay. But obviously, when I'm thinking logically, this doesn't make any sense. Not right now, anyway. So we're gonna say Fatal 4-Way match was billed, and then the last was it the Go Home show? The week before the Go Home show, there was a little tussle between them, like Seth and the Bron Brons, and that Seth left the ring. He said, no, let them cook. They're arguing with each other, and then LA Knight took out this guy, and the guy took out that guy, and then this super kick landed on LA Knight's face, and then Jay and CM Punk was watching LA Knight, but then Jay super kicked CM Punk too. Then they had their match. Obviously, them not lost because Seth won. Then they come on to helping each other, but they both want a title shot. The reason this doesn't make much sense at the moment because Jay's your biggest babyface in the company. I would say Cody, but he's not here, bro. So aside from that, you would argue that it's Cena, Cody, Jey Uso, bro. And if you want to be fair, Cody then Jey Uso because Cena's not here most of the time. So to have him have this flip that quick doesn't make much sense. But I'll tell you what, if it gets me to a heel Jay, I can waver that a little bit and stop moaning about it. But it doesn't make much sense. Yeah, it just doesn't make much sense at all, to be honest, bro, because it's not like Jay's been given rematches and then someone's cheated to win. He got given a fatal 4-way match and, you know what I mean? You lost to Gunter, blood. So if they were trying to, it's not that they're not trying to hold you back. They put you in every product. They put you in every show. You're the yeet guy. There's not really a reason. And I wouldn't like Jay to turn heel and then Jimmy stays babyface. So if they're gonna turn heel, then I'd rather Jimmy just go like I'm following my brother. That'll be the case. But I do like it. I do like it a little bit. especially if he gets, because I feel like Jay's better at cutting heel promos anyway, because it's just natural what comes to him. Whereas the babyface ones, he's all out of breath and all he can talk about is family all the time and yeet and 4 letters, 1 word, yeet. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, he from that point on, he took his bag, he stormed out through the metal detectors and then left the building, leaving his brother behind. Then we have this segment, 18-minute segment. AJ Lee comes to the ring. This isn't a problem to me that she came to the ring. So normally I'm pissed off about this promos. She didn't need 18 minutes, but I weren't pissed off that she came out because clearly she returned on SmackDown, so she's gonna have to come out on Raw and explain herself and all this business. I will say this on it. I was bored after about 4 minutes. Now, that doesn't mean that AJ Lee's not good. That doesn't mean I'm not intrigued by AJ Lee, but you have to understand I wasn't an AJ Lee fanboy before she left. I just liked her. I liked her with Daniel Bryan. I liked her with Dolph Ziggler and Big E. I liked her then. I liked the unhinged AJ Lee, and she was general manager and she was kissing people and stuff. I like that AJ Lee. But everyone's trying to rewrite history like she was The Rock, brother. She wasn't. Now, she starts cutting a promo, talking about where she's been and what she's been doing and all that stuff. Basically, everything that CM Punk did when he came back as well. Then she starts talking about her mental health. She needs to get that sorted and all that stuff. So once she started talking about mental health, then I just sat down. I was like, well, I guess I can't hate the promo now because I'll be cancelled for hating it. But I think the promo and the mental health thing was a bit of a beg, and then she said therapy, and then these flipping idiots in the crowd started saying, therapy, therapy. That's how you know they will chant anything, bro. I reckon if one of the wrestlers started chanting "My mom sucks," all the fans would be like, "My mom sucks," not "Your mom sucks." They'll be saying "My mom sucks." It's crazy. It's crazy, but let's cut through a bit of this. She said that she thought she hung up her Chuck Taylors. She thought she accomplished everything she wanted to do in pro wrestling, and then she went on to other ventures to try to accomplish all of those things too. Then she went on a mental health journey. Then she got treatment, and then the cheer for therapy happened. And then she said, I found a new way how to turn all this mental chaos into my superpower. Now, I'm not moaning at her for this because I watched one of her book signings before when she wrote a book, New York bestseller, and then she started talking about that kind of stuff as well. Then she started talking about healing isn't linear. And I saw my husband fighting Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, and John Cena, and she was fine with that. But then she saw Becky Lynch get in the ring, and she was like, listen, I wanted to like Becky. I thought they had so much in common. She's a leader. She's a rebel. She's a New York Times bestseller. But then she said, I'm everybody's favorite reference. And then blah, 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 all that, getting back on track business. And then she said, but then I did like this line. She said, then I saw Becky motorboat my husband, and she put her hands on him and berated him, and she defamed him, and nobody does that to my husband. I'm with that, safe. It's not a problem. She was interrupted by Becky, because as I told you guys, these promos, these 18-minute plus promos will always get interrupted by someone. It will never be a clean slate. Becky comes out, cringy as hell, man. Like, oh yeah, nothing to do with your stank-ass husband. Everybody's insane. I'd like the fact that she was shouting at the crowd, though, when they were trying to run her mouth, but then she's done the cheap shot stuff and all that business. She said, I'm the greatest wrestler of all time. She keeps mentioning Sport Illustrated, but nobody cares about Sport Illustrated anymore. That's dead in the water. And then yeah, it was trash. She said then AJ went on cringy. I forgot that I had the title around my waist. I actually went home. I slept with the title, and then I showered with the title. It was a bit awkward. I was trying to get dressed with the title on. Dead. That was all dead. Okay, so let's not even. We get it. She started trashing the crowd. She started calling AJ Lee Jersey trash and all this business. And me and my husband, we and my family, we have a vision. So don't stick your neck in where it belongs. And then Seth comes out because she's like, my gorgeous husband hit his music. Seth comes out, simple and easy. Then Seth approaches AJ in the ring to get the title back. He tells Becky, hold my title. I'm going to go get yours back, which makes no sense. Why would he not why would he just not stand there and then watch his missus? But he goes in the ring to try to get the title back, to go back and forth, and then CM Punk comes behind Becky in the ring, and then we kind of go on from there, bro. It was a bit dead. It was a bit dead, to be honest. She basically says when they roll out the ring, AJ Lee's like, you can have your title back if you agree to a tag team match, which we knew they were going to try this for WrestlePalooza because they're trying to book everything for ESPN to get the show over. We get it. So we're gonna end up in bare tag teams. We knew this mixed match tag was coming at some point. Fine. Please, in this match, can one of the women, can AJ get curb stomped, or can Becky get the GTS given to her, just so we can have a bit of flavor to it? And before anyone tells me we can't do it, the last mixed match tag team match we had between Seth and Becky versus Lacey Evans and Baron Corbin gave Becky the end of days in the sweetest way. So I don't understand why we can't do it. Nobody's watching it think it's domestic violence. It's wrestlers in a ring, bro. Nobody thinks that. So just allow it in it. So yeah, WrestlePalooza, and then AJ kisses the belt and then throws the belt out of the ring to Becky. It's funny, when Charlotte threw the belt, everyone was complaining, but she threw it on the floor, nobody cares. Anyway, yeah. American crowds are fickle. Nah, all the crowds are fickle, bro. All of them are fickle, because I heard these lot chanting everything for Roman, and then Seth came out, and then they did, oh, and then Braun, roof, 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 roof. Actually, that's not the bark, is it? What's the bark? I can't remember. And then LA Knight comes out, yeah, and then it's just wrestling fans nowadays, bro. Somewhere down the line, I need AJ to interrupt Drew. Promo, all things considered, that would be very interesting if she interrupted Drew. Can't lie, bro. Can't lie. He was talking about AJ Lee. Oh, Matt Riddle, and it. He was waffling a bit about her, saying that she got around a bit. It's kind of harsh still. Kind of harsh to be talking about a woman saying she got around a bit when she's been with her husband for 12 years, maybe? She's been with him about 12 years, at CM Punk. Because she was in the company longer than Punk. 10 years, 2025. Yeah. Because it was around WrestleMania 30. Yeah. So she's been there long enough, man. Yeah, it was, man. I think it's a bit childish, to be honest. Now, if you're just a whore backstage, then fair enough, innit? But if you just end up with you've had a couple of different boyfriends and that, well, they're on the road all the time, innit? So where do people think that like people are gonna find their relationships? Most wrestlers are married to other wrestlers, bro, or with other wrestlers. So I don't understand. Like, there's not a need for that. Anyway, even if it was true, there's not a need for it now, because she's been married to one man for 12 years, bro. Or she's been with one man 12 years, been married for 10, whatever. So, like, that's dead in the water now, doing all that with her and that. Just like Mickie James, she's married to Nick Aldis, she's been with him for time, dead. Beth Phoenix been married to Edge for ages, they got 2 kids, dead. There's no need to talk about all of that. So, I don't know what Matt Riddle was doing there. He thought it was funny doing it because he didn't really continue anything after that. Interesting. Because I think AJ was with Jay Lethal in it. I think, because I remember her being in the crowd. Yeah. But who cares, man? Who cares? It's always these weird virgin wrestling fans who ain't never touched a woman, have something to say, but I digress, but move on from there. We get Bayley's promo. I don't care about Bayley's promo, bro. She's still in that fucking kitchen, so I'm not talking about it. We have Penta versus Rusev. Rusev wins this match. New Day's there. Everyone's there. But nobody cares, bro. Rusev won this with a match kick out there. I like the kick, but you buried my guy Penta. So he escaped the claws of Tony Khan to come to the claws of Paul Levesque just to get mashed up. At least he wasn't getting mashed up in the AEW all the time. But we have a video recap of John Cena's final appearance at SmackDown, and then the attack from Brock Lesnar. Obviously, we didn't do a SmackDown review. I do want to say something about John Cena. John Cena had a match with Sami Zayn, which went 50-50 and ended in a no contest because Brock Lesnar came out. John Cena gave Sami Zayn everybody's finisher: angle slam, ankle lock, spear, pop-up power bomb, 2 AAs, and he's still going to win the match. I have a couple of questions. One, why was the match a no contest when every other match, whoever gets hit first means the other one wins? That's why no disqualification makes no sense. You know what I mean? So if Sami Zayn gets F5 first, then obviously Sami Zayn wins the match, no? Okay. And then on top of that, if John Cena can't beat Sami Zayn, even though he just had the most intense, great match, by the way, against Cody, and he got given the crossroads 3 times, and you know what I mean? If he can't beat Sami Zayn, then how am I supposed to believe? Remember, this isn't the first time that Brock Lesnar's beat up Sami Zayn. Remember when Brock Lesnar beat up Sami Zayn last time, just before he got in the bloodline, when he was in the wheelchair? You mean to tell me that I'm supposed to expect that John Cena can beat up Brock Lesnar Brock Lesnar, who hasn't said a word, by the way. This geezer's collecting checks by F5 and screaming. Nothing else, bro. You know, Paul Heyman made that joke at WrestleMania 35 where he's like, yo, my client Brock Lesnar, we got the private jet running. Seth, let's have this match straight away. And then Seth won in like 3 curb stomps and that. Brother, I'm convinced that Brock Lesnar literally has the gas running in his car still. Like, yo, it's a couple F5s and a scream, I'm gone, bro. Anyway, they got to stop doing that because now when I watch Brock Lesnar versus John Cena and John starts putting out all that, he does this. John's going to do a Styles Clash and John's going to do a rock bottom and he's going to do. When he does all of that, I'm expecting Brock to just win if that's the case. Yes, it makes everyone's finishes look meaningless. Very meaningless, by the way. Not a little bit. Very meaningless. So, yeah, trash. We have a backstage segment. LA Knight tells Jimmy Uso that what happened in the ring was completely an accident. Knight tried to do the nice thing, the wee thing. Yeah. We got all of that. So he kind of explained to Jimmy. And then, yeah, that was kind of it after that. We get Asuka versus Nikki Bella after the argument they had backstage. This is only a shock because of how wrestling's been lately. If this was 5 years ago and Asuka just beat Nikki Bella, fine. In fact, Nikki Bella and Asuka were the final people in that Royal Rumble in 2019. If I'm correct, didn't Asuka kick Nikki's shin and she won the match? So I remember that, but somehow they could have brought it up. They didn't. It wasn't 2019. It was 2019. It was 2018. I think Nakamura and Asuka won on the same night. Nakamura threw Roman out. Yeah, anyway, it doesn't really matter. But I remember that. They never brought it up for some reason. Could have had some feud there, but didn't. I'm shocked because they just made Nikki Bella tap out clean, bruv. She put her she hit with the Empress Impact and that, and then made her tap out. I thought Nikki was gonna pass out. That's what I thought was gonna happen. I was like, oh yeah, okay. She passed out. At least she didn't tap. They let her tap. Hey, this is how much people don't care, man. See how everyone cares about AJ Lee now, bruv. 2 weeks ago, it was Nikki Bella everyone cared about. They are booking everyone to be on the same level as each other, not to be superstars anymore. Because if you have everyone on the same level or there or thereabouts, you can replace them. You want to know why I know this? Everybody knows how I feel about Rhea Ripley. I think Rhea Ripley's great. She's just not my cup of tea in it. But I'm still cognizant and logical enough to know that she's the biggest female star on the roster, bro. Like, she's not of all time and not like in general, but right now in WWE for the last 2 years, she's been the biggest female on the roster. And they keep having her in cameos backstage, bro. Like, they're having do Ron Simmons type cameos. You know, Ron Simmons will pop up. Bam! They literally just... I can't imagine leaving my house with my backpack and all that, flying through the airports, having to sign autographs, and then get into TV and go, what you got for me, H? And then Hunter's like, yeah, yo, Ripley, I'm the game. I booked you in a backstage segment. And then Rhea's like, well, what am I going to say, mate? What do you even mean, you flaming galah? And then Triple H is like, you need to be backstage. So you got EO's back. Anything else, mate? No, but you remind me of China. Give me a hug. So what do you want me to do, mate? You flaming galah? Hey, mate, listen. What do you even mean? I'm telling you, bro, it makes no goddamn sense. Marissa, I don't know why they have Rhea coming out after the show, and she comes out. She comes out for social media levels, bro. So they can put it on social media. They're like, oh my god, it's such a cool house show. She's yeeting again. Weird, bro. We have Finn Balor, Raquel, props for a big victory opportunity. Yeah, we don't care about that. Asuka poking fun at Nikki in the backstage area. Nikki's had enough and she's ready for round 2. Why is Nikki ready for round 2? She just made you tap out. She just made you tap out. So shoving her after she made you tap out clean is pointless to me. Rhea Ripley steps in. This is my brutality. Asks Asuka, what's her problem? What's your problem here, mate? You're flaming galah. Look at that blood. Look at that corker over there. That's a crocodile, mate. Yeah, all of that Crocodile Dundee business and that. Asuka has a problem with both Rhea and Nikki, but guess what? Not all 3 of them don't have titles, so nobody cares. Asuka claims that she's the top woman wrestler in WWE. Well, you're not because you don't have a title. Rhea says that Asuka must have forgotten the fact that Io Sky is the number one contender. Why have they got? See, this is a real question. Why have they got Rhea breading Io? Like, why is she breading Io? Like, I don't get it just because Io. I don't get it. Fucking bro, it don't make any sense, man. Anyway, we move on to the final match of the night. The the main event in 2025. But you never be able to get me. I'm serious. This is the main event, and I'm not dissing the two people in the main event. I'm dissing the way they've been booked. That this is a main event. This was like the other not so long ago when Sami Zayn was in the main event against somebody, and it was pointless. And then we had like Rhea versus someone random in the LA Knight versus Bronson Reed is your main event. Imagine paying $6,000 front row tickets, and when you buy the ticket, it says you're gonna see your biggest superstars: Oscar, Bronson Reed, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and Cody Rhodes. And then at the bottom it says subject to change, possibility. So you're gassed, and then when you get here, you realize that you're only gonna see CM Punk just looking at his missus, all proud of her. You're only gonna see Seth. Oh. You're not gonna see Roman because he's dead. You're not gonna see Cody because Cody's supposed to be dead, and he didn't. Drew McIntyre claymore his head for a table. They told us they don't have an update on Cody, but he's doing Street Fighter promos and he's posting videos of him and his new baby. So I digress. We don't know what happened to Cody, kayfabe people. And then you get there, and then you're like, because everyone knows when you're at a show, the stuff that they don't show on TV used to be like Todd Grisham or someone, or Mike, Tom, Mike. You just made a list. One of them will come out, the one with the hair. I think it's Mike. They'll be like, and tonight, main event. LA versus the tribal thief, and everyone's going crazy. Oh my God, Roman's here, yes, let's acknowledge. And then he's like, no, big man. The tribal thief. Boo. No tribal chief. Yeah. So you get it. Asuka versus Nikki was the only singles match those two ever had. Other matches they have were in the Royal Rumble. Yeah, I already spoke about the Royal Rumble. But yeah, this was the main event because life. You don't like him now, Morris. Mike, Tom, Mike. You know what would be great? Bring in Jericho to be the manager of SmackDown or Raw. Imagine that. Or let Jericho be the because you remember you used to have the general manager, you had a commissioner. So let whatever the main job is, let Jericho be their boss, bro. He's the regional manager. Imagine that. You know what happens, huh? You know what happens, Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce, when you don't follow instructions? You know what happens, huh? You just made the list. Yeah, bruv, bring back the list of Jericho, blood. That was cold, bruv. When Jericho just used to say, you don't have it. It's like, what? You don't have it. Jericho was the cold. Jericho got over a pen. He got over a list. He got over, I'm the best in the world. My guy, blood. TNA commentary table. Just bring back Black Snow. We should have Booker T should be NXT. Has got Booker T. SmackDown has King Booker, and Raw has Black Snow. That's what they should do. That would be the coldest. That would be the coldest, bro. But anyway, we get to this match. There's not much to talk about because we've seen these lot fight 17 times already. All right, so let's not do any of that business. The Vision gang up on LA Knight. Jimmy Uso stormed into the ring. Jimmy with the super kicks. Breaker with the spear to Jimmy. Breaker transitions to the ground and pound. Reed is raining down repeated headbutts. Breaker dumps Knight out the ring. Reed with the senton splash. Jey Uso joins the fray because obviously everyone thought that Jey left. But we know we have to book for the pop. So we have Jey walk out the building, but he had an epiphany. I said, I'm coming back. Now, if he came back and that was the middle of the show, where did he go? Because Jimmy was backstage too. Surely, wherever Jey went, when he left and came back, he would have went to the change room where him and his brother was, which his brother would have saw him. But no, WWE had Jey leave the off license, leave Popeye's Chicken, leave Waffle House, and time it perfectly because he was watching Raw on his phone that they would need his help. You know what? It would have been cool. Imagine if he was in Waffle House and then the Waffle House TV while he was eating pancakes, it was LA Knight's match and he saw his brother there. And then he jumped in the car, he sped round the corner, and he ran down with a pancake in his mouth, still eating it. You know, just little details that make everything. But what do I know? I'm just a wrestling fan. Jay comes out, super kick to Reed's face, Breaker with a spear. Breaker drags Uso into the corner, Reed prepares for the tsunami attack. And then the Vision with a steel chair. Knight hits him with a steel chair. He clears the ring, and then it's the 3 in the ring versus the 2 outside the ring. Knight asks Jay if they're good. Gives Jimmy a hug, asks if he's okay. And then, Jay gets plants Knight with a spear. Yeah, so Jay hits LA Knight with a spear, and then he looks at his brother. Then his brother's on some like, yo, what you doing? I like this because Jay looked dead in Jimmy's face. He said, what? And Jimmy didn't know what to do at all. And we just have LA Knight on the floor holding his stomach. Jimmy's trying to help him, but he's still like, yo, you're my bro, so what's going on? And then we close out the show, and then Lee Fitting and Paul Levesque. And that was your Raw for the 8th of September 2025, live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, which is where Jeffrey Dahmer lived in those apartments and was doing a mad thing. So, sorry about that, but I had to bring that up again. Unhinged Jay, I hear it. Especially if you've ripped Roman off TV. You know what I mean? He starts locking into a few things. This is the way Roman got away with stuff. And you know what I mean? So what you should do is, I don't think they should turn Jay heel straight away. I think when Jay comes back next week, he shouldn't be unhinged. He should be normal Jay. LA Knight's probably going to have a problem with him. Jay might apologize for it or whatever. Maybe LA Knight say, listen, I'm not hearing an apology. I want a one-on-one match with you. Let's just settle this like men. Nothing after, nothing before, no interruptions. Let's just settle it like men, and then we can go on with our lives and we'll be fine. But in this match between Jay and LA, Jay cheats. Something light, puts his foot on the rope. Something small, just cheats, bro. Then we move on from there and start booking it. That's it, man. Booker T should be GM. Yeah, the reason why I said Booker T on the different commentary teams, because Booker T himself, when I watched the reality wrestling podcast, he said that the reason why he's on NXT only, because it's always in the same place and he doesn't like traveling. He doesn't want to do that schedule that he used to do, but I would love Booker T, you know what I mean? No mention of Mr. Kennedy. Well, Jeffrey Dahmer's way more over than Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy! But yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer's way more over than Mr. Kennedy. This is the most famous serial killer of all time, bro. Well, we could argue between him and Ted Bundy, but I'm thinking it's Jeffrey Dahmer because he was eating people and that, and he was, you know what I mean? He tried to take out my people, bloody, he had a thing for, you know what I mean? Because he was a bit rainbowish, and he had a thing for man them that looked like me still, so I wouldn't want to be around them times, you get me? Yeah? Man like Dahmer and that. No bread, no water, just one up. But you hear it. Love for the love though, guys. I'm heading over to Ensman TV right now because it's running a football podcast, so I'm going to go make a drink and then come straight back. So if you guys want to carry on any conversations, it won't be it won't be wrestling conversations, it'll be football conversations. I'm still trying to figure out what conversation I want to have on HUGO Online. I know people keep DMing me about it as well. And to be fair, with the way wrestling's going and the way football's going, HUGO Online was the happy medium for me because I actually enjoyed anything we spoke about over there. It's just that getting topics together. I wanted to actually just live stream on HUGO Online every day. So it just got to a point where I didn't have to overthink certain things. But I digress. We'll see what happens on it. But love for the love. You guys go and enjoy the rest of your day as well. Thank you for everyone who tuned in. Anyone who tunes in later on, consider hitting the like button too. In fact, don't consider it. Just hit the like button. Don't be a bitch about it. Don't be a tampon boy. Don't be a pauper. Don't be a muggle. Just press the button. If you don't like it, hit the dislike button, because I know at least I can see which bitch ass people didn't like the video. But it's been emotional. Yeah.